Bet.
Well, Democrats are likely to pounce on the Daniels decision as proof that some top GOP heavyweights may not want to face President Obama in 2012 and may prefer to wait until 2016, while some Republicans may welcome Daniels' announcement as a way to spur other party heavyweights to join the race, since they won't have to face the Indiana governor in the primaries. Well, let's talk about it now. Joining me are Ron Bonjean, former communications director to then House Speaker Dennis Hastert, and former Democratic Congressman from Texas, Martin Frost. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Ron, let me start with you. Mitch Daniels might have been a formidable candidate. So in the existent field and those who might soon join, who do you think benefits the most from Daniels' decision? And don't say your old boss, Newt Gingrich, okay? Don't go there.
No, that would be Speaker Hastert, and he's not running. But Mitt Romney, Tim Pawlenty are surely going to benefit from this. Tim Pawlenty announcing tomorrow. In addition, there are newcomers, possibility of John Huntsman jumping into the race. These are people that will definitely benefit from Mitch Daniels dropping out. It could also encourage other GOP contenders who haven't thought about jumping into the race. Maybe it will push them to jump in. The key thing here is that President Obama remains relatively weak. He has a stagnant jobs market. He has high gas prices. Right. This is an albatross around him. And if this is the way it is around Election Day, he's going to have a lot of problems getting reelected. And right now, in a general election matchup, a general Republican candidate would beat President Obama. Right. So we have yet to see how he's going to get out of that.
Congressman Frost, if the election is a referendum on President Obama and his policies, and that was reinforced in a conversation I had earlier today off camera with a longtime Democratic political pro and a strategist, a pollster, well, then this may only matter that the Republicans field a candidate, who is fit and viable. And here's why I say this. Take a look at the latest Rasmussen poll on this, showing that a generic Republican would beat President Obama. What about that?
Well, Greg, if you show the rest of the poll, it shows Obama beating every named Republican who's under consideration, in most cases by a pretty wide margin. You can't beat somebody with nobody. Now let's talk about the field. Romney clearly is the front runner. You have Newt Gingrich, who's kind of playing the role of the crazy uncle in the attic, and then you have a bunch of other people that aren't well known. The real question is, can Romney emerge through this process and not be so scarred, so beaten up as a nominee during the primary process, that he's still standing and in good shape at the end of the day? Right now, he's a clear front runner. I think that it could be an interesting race, could be a reasonably close race, but if you show the rest of that poll, the Rasmussen poll, you'll show head-to-head,
we're going to show it.
Obama versus other people. Obama's ahead.
Let me catch my breath. We're going to show it, Congressman. And okay. Ron, I'm going to show it to you, but first, I wonder if the GOP race is being shaped negatively by who's not running. And here's what Politico wrote in a column today. Republicans with star power who've said flatly they won't run translates into a GOP establishment deeply worried that the flawed options they're left with won't be any match for an incumbent president. And sure enough, that is borne out by what the congressman was talking about. Look at these poll numbers. None of the remaining potential candidates beats President Obama, which invites the question, is there a dearth of GOP candidates who can energize the electorate over an incumbent president who is inherently, pretty powerful when it comes to re-election?
Not at all. If you look at that poll and look at Obama's numbers, he's under 50%. In some cases, well under 50%. And, with Republican candidates right now, like Mitt Romney and Tim Pawlenty, those are candidates that haven't gotten out there yet as powerfully as Obama is on the campaign trail every day, and he's making a speech every single day. Americans don't know these other guys as well as they know President Obama. So, if other Republican candidates jump into the field, and if there's one that Republican primary voters love and becomes a consensus candidate, that could actually push the numbers up over Obama.
Well, which leads me to my question for Congressman Frost. Congressman David Plouffe, who's the senior advisor to the president now, was his campaign manager in 2008. He told U.S. News and World Report in a stunningly candid moment, because it doesn't happen often in Washington, that one person he's worried about is Jon Huntsman, the former Utah governor, ambassador to China under President Obama. I mean, is Huntsman the kind of sensible, non-ideological conservative that could seriously challenge President Obama?
Well, you know that, of course, he's never run for national office before.
So
and
what?
running for
Neither did President Obama.
Let me make my point. That people who've never run for a national office often have problems. That doesn't mean they can't win. You remember former Senator Thompson was touted the last time as being the ideal candidate. He got out there, got in the national arena, and had a lot of problems. It remains to be seen how Huntsman will do. It could be a decent candidate. We won't know that for some time.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we're going to leave it at that. Ron Bonjean and Congressman Martin Frost, good to see you both. Thanks very much.
Well, speaking of President Obama, he is defending his Mideast policy concerning Israel's borders. Earlier today, the president delivered his latest pitch before the most powerful pro-Israeli group in the nation. And this